And I wouldn't sit here for a nanosecond if I didn't believe that these promises that Jesus made actually can be fulfilled in a person's life today.
Welcome aboard. Here's a section of John Lennox debating Peter Atkins on God and science. John Lennox describes an encounter with a Chinese Harvard student on the question of God's existence and tenability.
I was lecturing at Harvard a while ago to a couple of thousand people, and when I'd finished, a young Chinese student stood up and he said, "Look at me." So we looked at him, and I said, "Why should we look at you?" He was absolutely beaming. He said, "You should look at me because 6 months ago I came to a lecture you gave at Penn State University. I was at the end. My life was in a complete mess. And something you said triggered a search. And I started to read the New Testament for myself, and I became a Christian. And just look at me now." Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've seen that happen not once, not twice, dozens of times. And when you see addiction to drugs transformed into food on the table, when you see broken relationships mended, and you ask people, "What happened to you?" and they say variously, "I became a Christian, I had an encounter with Christ," you begin to put two and two together and make four. And I wouldn't sit here for a nanosecond if I didn't believe that these promises that Jesus made actually can be fulfilled in a person's life today. And that's immensely important to me, the testability of Christian relationship with God.
Well, it's a kind of testability that you should leave to the psychologists and the psychiatrists, I think.
But I don't mind the psychiatrists. What do you mean, leave it to them?
Well,
The
because they will understand why these people have found the comfort. Let's accept that it may be comfort.
But that doesn't prove it's wrong, Peter, to use your argument. The fact that Christianity brings comfort is not evidence against it. It may well be evidence for it. If it brought discomfort and ruined people's
it's brought
lives...
a great deal of discomfort. Ask Joan of Arc, for example.
You're raising another question, and I'm Irish. I'm very sensitive to that question. And I could go into it if you want to.
One of the points you made was that you're enthralled by the universe and the concept of God because you can see that it provides an explanation of the rationality of the universe.
That's right.
So I don't need a God to account for this world.
Notice that the atheist wants evidences and testability for God, but when it's provided, they dismissed it as a psychological event. No amount of evidence then will ever suffice someone who denies the evidences from the heart. Paul, writing in the 1st century to the Christians in Rome, states, "Even Gentiles, who do not have God's written law, show that they know his law when they instinctively obey it, even without having heard it. They demonstrate that God's law is written in their hearts for their own conscience and thoughts. Either accuse them or tell them they are doing right." Thanks for watching. God bless you.